In my last video, you all saw me get driven crazy by that awful Shutter Island PC game. I'm losing my mind. Cry in a minute! He's gonna cry in a minute! Cry in a minute! But today it's my turn to drive you mad with some of the craziest movie Mandela effects ever. I'm about to show you that everything you know is a lie. If that reminds you of The Matrix, we'll get to that in a bit. So what's the Mandela Effect? Well, for those who don't know, the Mandela Effect refers to a situation in which a large mass of people believe that an event occurred when it did not. The term was originated in 2009 by Fiona Broome, after she discovered that she, along with a number of others, believed that Nelson Mandela had died in the 1980s, when he actually died in 2013.
They told me that David is dead.
For example, some of the biggest Mandela effects are things such as the Looney Tunes logo never being this, but always in fact this. I don't know why, massive missed opportunity with this one. And Curious George never having a tail. I know, you're saying, no way, that can't be true. And before you go off Googling, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, I know I've suffered from the Mandela effect. I always thought that Imagine Dragons song was singing some incestuous shit. Okay, so speaking of songs, here's an example of a very famous and very much a favourite movie song of all time.
I mean, bare necessities are Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam.
Okay, so what's the next line? It's, I couldn't be fonder of my big home, right? Right? Well, actually, it's...
I couldn't be found of my big home.
I know, right? Even though you've literally just heard the correct version of the song, you still in your mind remember hearing it another way, right? Apparently now it's found, and it always has been. But the memory remains. So what causes the Mandela effect? It's one thing for just one person to remember something differently, but what the hell causes everyone to have a collective false memory? Is it proof of the multiverse? Are we switching timelines? Is it just Peter Parker mucking up Doctor Strange spells again? Well, I don't know what it is, but I do know that it's very much real. And so will you after we look into these movie Mandela effects. And stick around for the end where we talk about an entire movie that doesn't exist, but people swear that they saw it in the 90s. Roll it.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me you killed him.
Okay, so starting off with probably the most famous one. We all know that the next line coming up is, Luke, I am your father, right? One of the most famous lines in all of cinematic history. Well, that line doesn't actually exist.
No, I am your father.
Wait, what?
So like I said, one of, if not the most famous line in all of movie history is actually either misquoted or we remember something else. Is this what you always remember Darth Vader saying? Mama always used to say life is like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're gonna get. Well, actually, she didn't. Okay, this one's a little bit nitpicky, so we're just gonna get it out of the way here. What the actual line is...
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
So the actual line is, was like a box of chocolates, not is. This one you can understand why people get it wrong, because Forrest himself uses the wrong tense. He says was as if it already happened, not is like life is still happening. So this is just as nitpicky as the one from Jaws, where the actual line is not, we're going to need a bigger boat, but...
You're going to need a bigger boat.
Okay, so from some nitpicky ones, the ones that actually blew my mind, remember all the stuff Bane did in The Dark Knight Rises? Took over Gotham, broke Batman's back, did lots of knitting. Yeah, that's right, knitting. I have seen this movie so many times and I never noticed this, but it's in there. When I first came across this one during my research, I honestly thought that this image was some meme that I didn't know about, not an actual still from the movie. But in many occasions throughout the movie, you can see Bane just practicing his knitting. Everybody needs a hobby, even supervillains apparently. The reason for this is that it is a reference to the book Tale of Two Cities, where the villain, Madame Defarge, no, not Nigel Farage, where the villain, Madame Defarge, I think I'm still saying that right, I don't know, only loves doing two things, killing and knitting. Reminds me of my nan. Well, obviously only half of it, she doesn't knit. It's just more proof for my theory that Bane really is just a lover and not a fighter. Okay, look, I've got to be honest, for me, E.T. is a boring ass movie. I'm sorry, I know that's going to piss a lot of people off, but I can't lie to you. I was bored as hell watching it as an adult. I think if you watch it again as an adult and forget the childhood nostalgia, you might realise yourself, actually, this is a snooze fest. But apart from having some of the best movie merch out there and that famous moon scene, the most famous part from E.T. is, of course, the famous line, E.T. phone home. E.T. home phone. That's right, he's actually just been looking for his landline handset this entire time. Now, the kids do correct E.T. and tell him that he means phone home, and E.T. does repeat this. However, people are still adamant that he never once at any point said the phrase the way home phone. What do you remember? Back to Star Wars again, and C-3PO has always been gold, right? Completely? Everywhere? Even his legs? They both gold? You sure about that? Did you ever realise that he's always had one silver leg? It's okay, because you probably didn't realise that Obi-Wan Kenobi never actually ever says, "May the Force be with you," either. Not once. The phrase, of course, is said throughout the franchise, but not by him. What he has said is,
"Use the Force, Luke."
Remember, the Force will be with you, always. The Force will be with you, always.
General Dodonna, I'm sorry, I'm not a Star Wars fan, I don't know how that's said. Also, don't be mad, I'm not a Star Wars fan, okay? Anyway, that guy, whatever, first says the line in The New Hope.
"Then man your ships, and may the Force be with you."
Followed by Han Solo in the next scene.
May the Force be with you.
Obi-Wan does finally say, "May the Force be with you," in Attack of the Clones and in Revenge of the Sith, but never in the original trilogy. The final Star Wars Mandela effect that we're going to cover in this video is from the famous scene where they're stuck in the garbage masher. Yes, that's right, garbage masher. People seem to think that Luke tells CP3O, "Will you shut up and listen to me? Shut down all the trash compactors on the detention level." But what he actually says is,
Will you shut up and listen to me? Shut down all the garbage mashers on the detention level, will ya? Shut down all the garbage mashers on the detention level!
there's even toys and merch that use the phrase trash compactor and not garbage masher. And if you look up the scene, you'll find trash compactor is the wording that's almost always used. We switched timelines! Worthy mention from Star Wars to Star Trek, did you know that never in the original series did Captain Kirk ever say the exact phrase, "Beam me up, Scotty"? Not once. He said things such as, "Beam me up," or "Scotty, beam me up," but never that exact phrase specifically. So the load of people that will probably die on the hill claiming that he absolutely did say that, you'll never find an exact scene of him saying that quote, despite it being probably the most famous quote among Star Trek fans. Mandela Effect strikes again. Now, The Wizard of Oz deserves its own video dedicated to either all of the controversies about its production or what feels like its never-ending amount of Mandela effects. You remember that Scarecrow was packing heat throughout the whole movie though, right? The Tin Man had his axe, but the Scarecrow had a pistol. I guess he was going to go shoot Batman, unless that's part of Tin Man's anatomy.
Fly, my pretties, fly!
Is never said by the witch.
Take special care of those ruby zippers. I want those most of all. Now fly! Fly!
Wait a minute. How did I get here? And how do I get home? Oh wait, that's right. I just clip my heels together, right? Well, actually, that's not what you do. She actually says, I can't remember, I need to look at the script. I'm still here. Oh, yeah. That's not what I do. She actually says tap, not click or clap, as some people think.
Then close your eyes and tap your heels together 3 times.
Speaking of Dorothy's shoes, a lot of people get shocked when they are shown that Dorothy's red shoes actually have bows on them. But her socks are white though, we can all agree on that one, right? Well, they've actually always been blue. Some people even remember white socks with stripes. But now that you see it with bows and blue socks, does it seem right to you? Another big Mandela effect from The Wizard of Oz is people remembering this scene where Dorothy picks an apples off a talking tree.
Ouch!
And people remember the tree saying a variation of the line, "Stop picking my apples, don't pick my apples, who's picking my apples?" Well, the tree never actually says anything like this. He simply says,
I'm Groot.
Nah, I'm kidding obviously. He simply says,
What do you think you're doing?
Not even Dorothy or the Scarecrow even say something like this about apples.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself.
Remember this scene from Risky Business? Well, turns out I've got this outfit completely wrong. Because not only was Tom Cruise not even wearing a white shirt, he doesn't even have the sunglasses on either. what the hell the Mandela Effect is going on here, huh?
Even in parodies from shows like The Simpsons and Scrubs think he has this outfit. So do the majority of people.
Speaking of costumes being wrong,
obviously we all know what Batman's logo looks like, right? We can all agree it's this. You know where I'm going with this by now. Even though this is the logo used for that era of Batman, it's not what's actually branded on his suit in the 1989 film, but it is the logo that's used on the poster, toys, and even on the bat signal for the film. The Batman symbol is something that's evolved over time, and we've all seen many different variations of it, but this is the only time that this version of the logo has ever been used. As you can see at the tail end of the bat, there are 2 extra prongs, and the wings have a much more thin and rounded shape at the bottom. In the next film in 1992, the logo is the familiar one that we all know. So why is it different just for the suit in the first movie? And was it always that way? Or is it just another effect of time travel changing things? It's like how Freddy Krueger is known for his hat and red and black sweater getup, even though it's actually red and green. Not matching with Dennis the Menace after all. It's also like how Baloo wearing a coconut bra during
I want to be like you.
never happened either. He does wear a coconut on his face, but never as a bra. Now what makes this Mandela Effect really scary is that the original animator even believes it was a bra. Floyd Norman, who was historically the first black animator hired by Disney, has said on his time working on the Jungle Book movie, veteran writer Larry Clemens thought having animated characters in drag was a surefire gag. Every time the story team would come up with a wacky idea, Larry would always chime in and say, "What if we put him in drag? That would be hilarious." Eventually, Larry managed to get his way.
Goddamn right.
When Baloo the bear has his wacky "I want to be like you" duet with King Louie the orangutan, we put Baloo in a coconut bra and grass skirt. I think we finally managed to please Larry, and perhaps he was right after all. The zany duet between Louis Primer and Phil Harris is a genuine showstopper. But it's not there. I mean, he remembers it. He even remembers how it came to be, and we remember it, right? But how? It's not there. Okay, because that one is genuinely creepy to me, I think we should move on to this next Mandela Effect that I think is actually quite easily explained away. But it's still one of my favourites. Now, we all know here that Gandalf's famous line before falling to his supposed death is "Run, you fools." But actually, the real line is what everyone who watches Lord of the Rings says about what they should have done to get to Mordor. Why don't you just...
Fly, you fools!
It's just like that Yanni and Laurel thing. Whatever you decide to hear, you can then make yourself hear it, you know? You just choose what you do want to hear and just ignore what you don't. A bit like anyone who worked for Dan Schneider. Well, it does sound like he's saying run and not fly, but it's just one of those strange phenomenons where you can literally hear whatever you focus on. For example, in this scene here from Toy Story 3, Ken says, "Oh, Barbie, those were vintage." But I bet if I told you he actually says, "Oh, those were vintage." You could hear that too, right? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? Actually, mate, that's not the line. What she's always said is...
Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?
It just occurred to me that the mirror is basically the Queen's version of Alexa.
Who is the fairest one of all?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Alexa, who is the fairest of them all?
Famed is thy beauty, majesty. But hold, a lovely maid I see. Rags cannot hide her gentle grace. Alas, she is more fair than thee.
She's beauty and she's grace. She's Miss United States.
Such lovely tips.
Do her crown, bitch.
And a great behind.
What's crazy about this one is the fact that even Disney get this quote wrong on their own merch. And it's their movie. Sticking with Disney. So this character's called Pumbaa, right? Right? Well, actually, his name's Richard. No, I'm lying. For now, anyway, until the timelines change again, of course. The real Mandela Effect here is that Pumbaa is spelled with 2 A's. I don't remember that ever being the case, but that is how he's officially credited in both the original animated Lion King movie and the live-action one. He's in good company with people getting a Disney character's name wrong, though. This is, and always has been, allegedly, Cruelle de Vil, not Cruella de Vil. Oh, hey, look, it's Disney getting their own quote wrong again.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? You are...
So what's this movie called? If you said Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, you're wrong. The original from 1971 is called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but the 2005 one is the one that's called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. What's funny about this one is that the 1971 version has Willy Wonka in the title, but primarily focuses on Charlie as the main character, and the 2005 one has Charlie in the title, but focuses more on Willy's backstory. I can't bring myself to sit through it, but let me guess, the newest Wonka movie is about Hugh Grant and Balloompa. But my god, does anybody still feel traumatised from that bloody tunnel scene from the original?
Bastard! Well, has it gone too far? These signs that they are slowing!
Best time for me to promote the Willy trilogy videos, by the way. One of them got to 126k views, which is huge for me. So make sure you check those out too. It's all about that crazy Glasgow Willy Wonka experience scam. If you didn't know about it, definitely check that out.
Remember the sword and the stone?
Well, did you know that the sword isn't actually in a stone? It's in an anvil on top of the stone, which just blows my mind. I always remember it and mentally picture it in the stone. The sword and the anvil is the more appropriate title, I guess. Hello, James. Hello, Clarice. Oh, no, sorry, my mistake. He never actually says that in the film. He only ever says good morning or good evening to her. Never specifically, hello, Clarice. Sticking with creepy movies.
Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Wait a minute, wait. I'm missing a feeding tube. Did you ever notice Regan had one? It seems to conveniently disappear in the infamous head-turning scene, though. On to another Scary Movie, in name only this time, though. In Scary Movie, there's a scene where they mock the scene from The Sixth Sense, where the character of Shorty says, I see white people. Obviously, instead of,
I see dead people.
But despite everybody remembering and quoting this parody line, he doesn't actually say that at all.
Can I tell you a secret?
Sure, man.
I see dead people.
Man, this shit is awesome.
Yo, son, you gotta roll some more of that shit outside.
Even on the poster for the movie, he's wearing a shirt that says dead people, not white people. What's weird is that saying white people is obviously funny because he's surrounded by them while he's tripping, and just repeating the normal line and not mocking it is just pointless. I could have sworn that he said the white people line, couldn't you? Sticking with Scary Movie.
But wait, there's more.
Another Mandela Effect happens in the sequel. We all remember, take my strong hand. Actually, apparently we don't.
Help! Here, oh, take my hand. Ah, come on. You're gonna fall unless you take my hand. No, give me your other hand. Oh, my other hand isn't strong enough. You take my little hand. No, get it away from me. Take it.
Remember this scene in Mrs. Doubtfire with the fruit? Oh, it was a drive-by fruiting! Well, turns out it wasn't. The actual line is...
Oh, sir! I saw it! Some angry member of the kitchen staff. Did you not tip them? Oh, the terrorists, they ran that way. It was a run by fruiting. I'll get them, sir. Don't worry.
If you build it, they will come, as they say. This originates from this movie, Field of Dreams, and if you haven't seen it, you've probably heard of the quote. But, turns out that isn't what's said either.
If you build it, you will come.
There's a snake in my boots. Yep, that's right, boots, plural.
There's a snake in my boots.
Woody does just say boot and not boots in the sequels, however, just it's boots for some reason in the first one. What if I told you that everything you knew was a lie? And then what if I told you that Dorothys never says this line in The Matrix?
Someone. I won't lie to you, Neo. Every single man or woman who has stood their ground, everyone who has fought an agent has died.
And in The Matrix, the Mandela Effect theory isn't going to add more to the conspiracies, huh? If you're a Spongebob fan, I'm sure you remember him playing the guitar in the 2004 movie, right? Well, it's more than likely that you're remembering that scene completely wrong. In the song I'm a Goofy Goober, SpongeBob's guitar is remembered by many to be V-shaped, white, with a double neck, just like this one. But, in reality, at least the one we're living in now, it actually looks like this, which is more of a peanut type shape, and has the letters GG on the end of it, and also with only a single neck. Does that feel right to you? Now, I know Disney is all for encouraging people to use their imagination, but apparently many of us are imagining a Disney intro that never ever existed. Do you remember when Tinkerbell from Peter Pan used to dot the I in the Disney movie intro with the castle? Plenty of people do, and this one in particular has driven people crazy. I could swear I remember this, but it doesn't exist. And I'm not just talking about this one, which was on Disney DVDs, or this one, which is just fan-made. But the fact that somebody could recreate this from memory from something that didn't exist, and many other people claim to remember it too, how is it so that this Neverland existed? Unlike the Disney DVD intro and similar ones where Tinkerbell is used, the one that people remember but can't specifically find involves Tinkerbell flying across the screen to create this line here. When she goes to dot the letter I with her wand, it doesn't work at first, and she frustratingly gives it a tap before it works and she adds the dot to the I. But footage of this intro, nowhere to be found. As I mentioned at the start of this video, the biggest movie-related Mandela effect is undoubtedly Sinbad's Shazaam movie, fondly remembered by 90s kids, even though it never existed. The movie was allegedly Sinbad playing a genie named Shazaam who helped these kids grant their wishes. Now, the obvious explanation is that people are confusing this with an actual 90s movie called Kazam with Big Shaq, where he played a genie called Kazam who granted 3 wishes to the 2 kids and set him free. This actually does exist, although, judging by how well it was received, I think most people wish that it didn't. This is without doubt the Mandela effect that people defend to be true despite evidence more than any other that it isn't. Reddit is of course full of discussion about this movie, with some even remembering the plot. It was about a single father of 2 kids that just moved into a suburb neighbourhood. The kids find a lamp leading to a funny reveal of Sinbad as the genie. People also seem to remember a fight between the kids when the brother finds out that the sister wasted the second wish on fixing a doll, and the movie ending with a pool party scene. Others say that they very clearly even remember the VHS cover of the movie where Sinbad is coming out of the lamp. Poor old Sinbad has been plagued with people telling him that this movie exists, and despite his consistent denial of it ever happening, people are still adamant that they saw this movie as a kid in the 90s.
Harley Mersh?
Carly.
Dude, Sinbad was the f***ing genie.
See, Carly, you know, Carly, I wish I knew where you lived so I could come by there and just tell you to your face. It never happened. And you never saw it. You should go to rehab.
And to answer the $1 million question, did I do Shazaam? No. Did I look like I do Shazaam? Yes. Did I do Shazaam? No. Did I look like I do Shazaam? Yes.
And then you do damn Shazaam, right?
No, it never happened. There's no Shazaam.
Wait a minute, the movie was the bad.
No, they think everybody thinks Shazaam is the Mandela effect. Everybody swears I did a movie called Shazaam.
So Sinbad, were you a genie back in the day?
No, man. It was a lot. Everybody thought it was Shazaam. It started about 2008, 2000. I don't even know how it got started. I don't even know how it started. Then it got to the point. People remember the same scene. They only remember one scene. Me and 2 little kids. They don't remember no other part of the movie. And everybody says, I watched it as a kid. I said, okay, all you people watched it. I would give $10,000. I put it online. I would give $10,000 to anybody to bring up the videotape. Everybody got fake boxes. They Photoshop boxes. I said, where is the tape in the box? Because everybody got these good boxes.
So it's the Mandela effect.
It's beyond that. It's beyond it because Mandela was in prison. You know, the Bernstein Bears, the were bears. There was never a Shazaam. There was never a genie movie. So this one has no basis on anything. To the point where people think I stole all the tapes back.
You sheeple may have already moved on, but I still think about the Sinbad genie movie about 9 times a day.
You know, man, I hope your career dies.
I'm tired of this thing by now.
Huh. I wonder if in another universe there's a Sinbad genie movie, but everyone is adamant that they saw a Shaquille O'Neal one that they can't find. Sinbad has played along with the joke at times, however, being part of an April Fool's video with college humour where they pretend that they have found the lost footage of the movie. So, do you remember this movie? Which of these Mandela effects has affected you the most? As always, I love to hear from those who watch my videos, so let me know with a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell thingy to be notified of all future videos, and of course, check out all the other videos on this channel. Until next time, take care of yourself, mates. Don't let the bastards grind you down, and I'll see you in the next one.
I don't believe in destiny, I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy. Yeah, this legacy, you gon' see what's left of me. You gon' see success in me, you ain't seen the rest of me. I just wanna be the best at what I know, better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my quest, I'ma make it known. They call me obsessive, oh I know. Call me selective with my notes.
Actually, that's not what I do. Whoa, God, hang on. She says tap, or click, or clap. Actually, that's not what I do. Because in the movie, she says tap, not click, or I can't get this.